7:30 p.m. Ditch the guesswork. Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, James Young, and Tom Vecchio have your NBA draft betting coverage pick by pick, bet by bet, all night long. We got all the insights and expert analysis because betting blind isn't a strategy. Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. on June 25th, only on SportsGrid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face, and after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
The Minnesota Vikings, J.J. McCarthy, who had such a good training camp last year, and it looked like he was pretty good, I believe, in the preseason, if I'm not mistaken, ended up going down for the full year. The Vikings are still obviously committed to him.
They knew that McCarthy was going to be available at some point in June. And McCarthy actually went on record last week and confirmed 2 weeks ago he was cleared medically. He did work last week. And he's going to be their starter.
Newswire, only on Sport.
And welcome in. It's in-game live game day and a wild, wonderful Wednesday. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan for the next 2 glorious hours right here on the grid. Hopefully making some money with the boys in Vegas like we did last night. Thank you very much, Florida Panthers. It's a beautiful thing. But in the world of sports and gambling, it's what have you done for us lately? So let's see if we can, Dave, make some more money tonight. We got a little NCAA baseball tonight. How about that? We haven't delved too much into that. We got the finals being set tonight. And then we got, obviously, a full slate of Major League Baseball as well. Recap, I'm sure, last night's game. Preview NBA Game 6 tomorrow. Hockey season ended. Will the NBA season end tomorrow night? We will decide that fate later on this evening. So what's going on, my friend? How are you tonight, Dave?
Good to see you. Yes, yesterday went swimmingly well. Between the 5 on the line, sweep, all those tickets that you had with the Florida Panthers all come in. I mean, everything worked out great. The Dodgers and Padres late were throwing at each other, ended up going over. Another one of those nights where everything just kind of fell into place. So that was good. And then you get to today, and you're fired up and you're ready to go, and baseball, rain. Like it's all over the place. But we got games to discuss. We got plays to give you. So all good, man. All good.
Yeah, hit 5-0 as you saw there on the graphic last night with our 5 on the line. The best trends. We're now 64 games over 500. And these last night, for the most part, were just basically pick 'em. We did lower, and this is why we lowered it to 5.5. Again, as we always say, rather give you a game, a bet that wins that you don't bet versus a bet that you do bet but loses. So the bet and trend was, 17-3, 6 goals or more. They got 6 last night. So if you did that and laid the extra juice, you were a winner. We hit with the over Red Sox Seattle game, hit with the under Milwaukee Cubs game. Disappointed to see that game is rained out already tonight. They had some monster under trends on that one. So, and then, the others, another under Kansas City. So with that said, what are we doing tonight though, Scott? Again, it's all about now. We spent yesterday's money already. So 5 best trends, really 4. I'll explain here in a second, but time for our 5 on the line. Yeah, you can put this one in your back pocket for tomorrow. I'm thinking that Milwaukee and the Cubs play tomorrow, but it's already been rained out tonight. Cubs 11-1 under. They're on a monster roll there. The series is 9-1 under as well. So we were going to go under 9 Cubs in Milwaukee, but again, it's already been rained out. Midwest is getting deluged with rain, so put that one again in your back pocket and see if they play tomorrow. If they do, then go ahead and play that. So with that said, number 4 on our 5-1 countdown. Dodgers in San Diego, 22-4. They don't lose to this Padres team. The Padres team's been pretty good over the last few years. Dodgers obviously been very good as well. But they own this series overall and especially at home. 22-4, their last 26 against the Padres at home. So we don't like to throw big numbers at you, but we're going to do it today. Give it a Dodgers, Dave, -2-1.
It's unbelievable. The Dodgers are 4 out of 5 this season. They date back to those numbers that you were talking about. And Sheehan is the 16th pitcher that the Dodgers are using this year. That is by far the most in Major League Baseball. 16th guy to start a game. And it doesn't even matter. They just keep rolling. So I like it. It's crazy. Haven't seen anything like this in a while. What is number 3?
All right, number 3 on our hit list, same game. It's been a double winner the last 2 nights, yesterday and on Monday as well. That's Dodger overs at home, now 20-6. These games are all going over. I don't know why, listen, they don't go completely under on the road, but the bats come alive at home. They give up some runs as well, so 20-6, you know what it's going to be. Give us over, right? 9.5. Dodgers, San Diego Padres tonight.
The good thing here is if it doesn't happen in the first 5 and they get into the bullpen, I got this here. San Diego's bullpen has struggled over the last 6+ weeks. It's a 4.70 bullpen ERA dating back to May 5th. That's 26 worse in baseball. So they really were great in April up until that May 5th date and have been bottom 5 since. So don't even panic if it's not on an overpace into the 5th. Because that back end bullpen's been really not good.
All right, number 2 on our countdown, 5-1. Cleveland and San Francisco. The Guardians, 23-11 under their last 34 games. Pair that with San Francisco, 35-19 under their last 56 games, or 54 games. And add it up, and let's go under, right? Under 8, Cleveland at San Francisco.
Despite not having a win, Verlander has pitched good. His last 6 starts, he's had 2.97 ERA, 24 Ks. So let's get that working. Still can't believe they didn't win last night with everything going for them. I like playing the total of this game. The Black Cloud, I mean, can't win every night. That's okay. But I like this total under. This looks like a good play. What else should we got?
All right, that leaves us with only one. The coup de grace, creme de la creme, numero uno, number 1 trend for tonight. Texas Rangers, right back on the well. 41-17 under their last 58 games, including 28-9 now at home. So the number 1 trend play, you know what it is, fellas. Under, right? Got to do it. Under 8, Kansas City at Texas. And another one Dave hit last night, like I've told you guys before, in that Kansas City scored 3 runs in the first. They scored a run in the third. Texas scored a run in the third. Then they scored another run in the fourth. They had like 6 runs in the first 3.5 innings, and you're holding on to an 8.5 ticket last night, and that was it. Scoring stopped, or they got one more run after that. And the game still went under. So just like you said about the Dodgers, don't worry. If you're not getting runs, it still could go over.
Right.
Don't worry about Texas if they give up 2, 3, 4 runs. I've seen it happen so many times this year. The scoring just shuts down in these Ranger games. It's amazing. So 28-9 under. That is
doesn't make
at
any
home.
sense.
That is an amazing number.
And Patrick Corbin is starting for the Rangers. You'd never, ever say this, okay? But, an under in a Corbin game. But how about this? he has allowed 3 runs or fewer in all 12 of his starts this season. Last year, he allowed more than 3 runs in 16 of 32 starts for the Nationals. So where you may be worried about the Royals getting to Corbin, he's been really good. And how about this one? This one is amazing. The Kansas City Royals have hit a Major League Baseball low 6 homers versus lefties this season. Wow. Corbin's a lefty. We don't even got to worry about home runs.
They're not hitting a home run tonight, right? I tell you, we'll talk more about it when we come back on the other side. Actually, we got a guest. Quentin Mills will join us and do a little NCAA baseball.
That board looks good tonight.
The Rangers.
Look at that board before we go. That board looks good. I think it's probably 3-2, maybe 4-1. What are you going to call? I mean, because last night you called it 5-0.
We called 5-0 last night, right? So, if the Yankees streak was broken, maybe ours will be as well. So we'll say 4-1 tonight. We'll go 4-1. Okay. All right, NCAA talk coming up next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 1 of our 2-hour extravaganza, as we like to say. Just to recap real quickly, our 5 on the line, which tonight is 4 on the line because one of the games got rained out already, Milwaukee and the Cubs. Dodgers minus the 2-1, over Dodgers 9.5, under Cleveland 8, San Francisco, And then our number one trend play, under 8 Kansas City and Texas Rangers are 5/, which is why we can't go 5-0 or even 4-1 because we only got really 4 plays. So we'll go 4-0. How about that? We'll set a precedent. Can bet not only on baseball, MLB, but also NCAA World Series. It's really actually been a great World Series. I mean, it's too bad it's got overshadowed a little bit with the hockey and the NBA going on. But it's been really a lot of storylines, a lot of entertaining stuff. No hitter the other day. So let's talk a little NCAA baseball because we got a game going on right now that we can put some shekels on. Quentin Mills at NCAA Insiders, our college baseball insider, knows everything you need to know about college baseball. Let's go on, Quentin. How are you tonight?
It's always good when the college baseball game's on national broadcast. How about you guys?
Oh, it's great. Absolutely. It's really been, like Scott said, a lot of fun this week, and Omaha's been great. What have you taken away from this? Are we closer to, not parity, because, I mean, Arkansas and LSU are playing, SEC schools right now to go to the final against Coastal. But I feel like it's been with Murray State and now with Coastal in the final. Teams that aren't normally talked about or even at Omaha in this. Have you been surprised by the results so far?
I was more surprised of teams like Murray State making it and just kind of the way the regional round shook out 2 weeks ago with so many top 16 seeds losing and not even making the super regionals. When we're talking about Coastal, I'm not surprised. If you guys remember, they won the 2016 national title against Arizona. And they've been relevant ever since. And they were relevant prior to that. Kevin Schnall, first-year head coach, was an assistant there off and on for 20 years. Gary Gilmore is a legend in the game. Really set that program up for success in year one for Kevin. And then you look at the players. Like Caden Bodine, in my opinion, is probably the best catching prospect since Adley Rutschman. And that's saying a lot, especially at the premium position. Then you look at the guys that they have. Ty Dooley, Thorndike, Dean Mijos, like they're true ball players. And Coastal's in a very tough conference in the Sun Belt, specifically to college baseball when you have to go through Troy, Southern Miss, Louisiana, who's typically good, Georgia Southern. Like it's definitely a mid-major, but it's the top tier mid-major. So for Coastal to be there again, competing for their second national title in college baseball, they're not a Cinderella by any means. And Kevin Schnall talked about that. So I would say, to kind of circle back, Murray State, 800 people, stadium, things like that. Like it's a good story, but Coastal is starting to become in the consideration of like a powerhouse.
They got a bit of a break here, Quentin. Listen, I haven't followed it that extensively, but reading the story today, that they're taking on obviously a very good Louisville team. They win 11-3, so they advance. But how is it possible? Explain to me how Louisville pitched a guy, not only pitched, but started a guy who hasn't pitched in a month. I mean, your life and death on the line, trip to the World Series on the line, and you're pitching a guy that's been not doing anything for a month. How did that work itself out for Louisville?
Well, that's the thing. When you come out of the loser's bracket, it's kind of anybody's game to step up and get a big win for your team. And, just to get into that game, they had a heartbreaking loss, walk-off against Oregon State in game one. Then you had to battle back 2 straight games, and you just get to that point in college baseball in the format where, hey, if you're the 9th guy out of the pen, it's your time to shine if you can. And unfortunately, as good as Louisville's run was, it just kind of ran out of gas. And, no disrespect to them. They were a heck of a team all season long. They battled back to even get to that position. So credit to them for a wonderful season.
LSU and Arkansas are playing tonight. We got the word that Arkansas is leading early. Prior to the game, I have it here on my notes that you liked Arkansas. Is that true?
I did. I just think Arkansas, when you look back, they came out extremely flat in game one against LSU. They were able to kind of get that back a little bit towards the end with Gage Woods' no-hitter, which was a phenomenon to watch in itself. I mean, he was one pitch away from a perfect game. It reminded me back to the Scherzer hit-by-pitch non-perfect game. But anyways, their offense has been one of the best in the country all season long, right? And typically offenses like that don't stay asleep for too long. And you knew they kind of wanted to get back to this point and wanted to show LSU, hey, this is the team that we can be. You did beat us in Alex Fox Stadium there in Baton Rouge early in the year, but we want to beat you when it matters here. And that's what I think this game, came down to. And then with Ianson and Cade Anderson not pitching, it's not been a secret that LSU's kind of not really had an answer on a number 3 starter. They used some Penn guys like Chase Shorts and some other guys in their previous game. So they're a little thin on the pitching aspect when in comparison to Arkansas. Gage Wood, I mean, when he went 9 innings, that saved Arkansas's pen and gave them essentially a fresh rotation coming into this game. So I just liked Arkansas's depth a little better here, and I figured the offense would kind of get clicking here. And it's 1-0, but that's all you need right now if you got a good, strong pitching staff.
I'm kind of glad he did hit that kid, because what they did to the other kid in the 9th inning just wasn't right about calling a strike when he got hit by the pitch. That was complete. Like that wasn't fair. It really wasn't. All right, so FanDuel does offer betting on this stuff. So Arkansas up 1-0. Quentin, they're now minus 160. It was minus 140 a moment ago. So that, I guess they didn't score, or Arkansas was batting here, maybe with some runners on base. Minus 160 over under 7.5. If you didn't have a dog in the fight beforehand, would you still lay the minus 160? And any thoughts on the over under at 7.5?
Yeah, I'm not against laying the 160 again. I fully believe Arkansas will force an if game tomorrow, to where at that point it would be whoever wins that game goes to the finals and meets up with Coastal. Like I said, Arkansas's offense was just, in my opinion, stronger throughout the entire season to LSU. And then with Cade Anderson and Ianson not pitching today, that should get them at least into tomorrow's game.
Real quick, you got, I think, about 20 seconds. You were in Omaha, were you not?
I was.
How much fun is it in 10 seconds?
Oh, you have to go. It's a once-in-a-lifetime trip. I'll save you the time. Just book it.
Yeah, that's got to be a bucket list thing, right? Absolutely. Quentin, great job, man. Follow him on Twitter. It is at NCAA Insider. Have some fun with the tournament, and hopefully we'll do it again soon. Thanks, Quentin.
Thanks, fellas.
On June 25th at 7:30 p.m., ditch the guesswork. Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, James Young, and Tom Vecchio have your NBA draft betting coverage pick by pick, bet by bet, all night long. We got all the insights and expert analysis, because betting blind isn't a strategy. Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. on June 25th, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe they are the best team out in the West, because a rooting interest for me, Tom, always the Mariners. Hey, they're finally getting the hitting back, but now that's starting to slide.
We can make the case for the Rangers. They showed some things. A team that the Rangers, you and I were both very high on coming into the season. They make a shot for the wild card. But I do think it's going to be a two-team race between the Astros and the Mariners, and that's really about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in-game live. Game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 1, third segment. So you know what we do, third segment. Time for a little SGP same game parlay. All right, we're going to go right back to the well. We've come close with this Dodger-Padres series, but we haven't been able to cash a ticket. So close only counts in hand grenades and bowling and sex. But let's see if we can actually complete the deal on this Wednesday night. Whoa, who wrote that in the script? So let's go Dodgers one more time. Minus 198, 2-1 against the San Diego Padres. Let's go over 5.5 runs Dodgers. I'm not going to stay away from the 9.5. It takes 2 to tango, and I'm not going to worry about the Padres not hitting. So I do think the Dodgers will get 6 runs. We're going to go with Ohtani. You see there, plus 176 to hit a home run. We're going to pass on the stolen base tonight. Watch him get like 2 stolen bases. We're going to go Ohtani 2 hits. So he's going to get the home run, obviously. So he's going to get 1 more. This way we don't get agitated when he hits one off the wall and ends up with a double inches from a home run. And then we're going to go with Stephen Kolak, the pitcher for the Padres. He's actually pretty good. Over 3.5 strikeouts, plus 104. You know, he does get 4 or 5 strikeouts, and the Dodgers are a strikeout team. Not over the top, but they do get their fair share. Ohtani last night, 4 strikeouts all by himself. So add it all up, and it's a nice 15-1 parlay. Dodgers, over 5.5 runs Dodgers. Ohtani a home run. Ohtani 2 hits. And then Kolak, the pitcher for the Padres, 4 strikeouts or more. 15-33 is the payout.
You know what I'm most excited about right now after looking at that? That you did not involve Ohtani stealing a base tonight, because you've been adamant all week. You threw that out as much as that adds to the payout. So I'm excited for you for that. The home run is kind of, not the way he does hit home runs. He went 0 for 4 yesterday with 4 Ks. So tonight's a night for him to bounce back, right? He got hit in the hip. Do you think they threw at him intentionally last night? That was clearly intentional.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He laughed it off to his credit, but, for a guy that's coming off Tommy John surgery and has had some injuries, you don't fool around with that, right? I mean, you want to go hit Andy Paez and all those others, fine, knock yourself out. You go after Ohtani, that's when you really go ballistic. If I were the Dodgers, I would have been. If I was I think what's his face was already thrown out of the game already.
Yeah, he got thrown out for coming out for that. Yeah, he got thrown out.
Oh, for that? Okay. So I would have really gone like ballistic. Anybody else besides the big 3? You can't throw out the big 3: Freeman, Betts, or especially Ohtani. So, but it's gonna be a little nasty, which is good. Baseball needs it. I don't want anyone to get hurt, Dave, but baseball needs a little rivalry. Red Sox Yankees, that's kind of waned a little bit over the last few years. Red Sox not being any good. Everyone's all buddy. I wouldn't mind a nice little bench clearing brawl to get things going in baseball. Why not? I'd rather have a brawl than have a guy get beamed. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and the way baseball brawls are too. It's they come out, they kind of grab each other, a lot of dancing around, not like a hockey brawl, but that's okay. No, so that's good. This thing has a shot tonight. How many innings does Volik pitch? Does he get 5 innings? I think if he gets 5 innings, he gets the K prop over. If he gets knocked out before the 5 innings, this one might be in trouble.
Yeah. I think he gets 5 innings. I think he does. So
okay. All right, Kolak gets here. All right.
That's not that many strikeouts. I got some good. I'm gonna save it, but I got some really crazy Ohtani numbers. You said it, going 0 for 4 last night with 4 strikeouts, no less. I don't know if that's just he's distracted, the pitching, whatever the case may be, but he clearly wasn't on his game. But I'll just tell you, we got the Black Cloud coming up in 20 minutes. I will tell you that Ohtani back-to-back bad games, it's amazing. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
Right.
You can count on one hand how many times this guy, Davis, had back-to-back hitless games. Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Well, that's less than 5 or less. I like that. I don't know how many times he struck out 4 times in a game. I have to see. We get the research team on that. It hasn't happened much. No way.
I wouldn't think so. So, all right, quick little break. We'll come back. Tom Vecchio will join. Do a little baseball with Tom here on the Grid.
On June 25th at 7:30 p.m., ditch the guesswork. Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, James Young, and Tom Vecchio have your NBA draft betting coverage pick by pick, bet by bet, all night long. We got all the insights and expert analysis because betting blind isn't a strategy. Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. on June 25th, only on SportsGrid.
Astros right now have awoken. Maybe they are the best team out in the West because a rooting interest for me, Tom, always the Mariners. Hey, they're finally getting the hitting back, but now that's starting to slide.
We can make the case for the Rangers. They shore up some things. A team that the Rangers, you and I were both very high on coming into the season. They make a shot for the wild card. But I do think it's going to be a two-team race between the Astros and the Mariners, and that's really about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back. It is In-Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott, Dave, hour number 1. No NBA, that's tomorrow. No hockey, that's until October of next year. That is done, but we do have some baseball stuff. So let's bring in our good buddy Tom Vecchio, SportsGrid Radio, SportsGrid TV host. You see it here all the time here on the grid. What's going on, Tom? How are you on this Wednesday evening?
I'm doing great. It was good to see Florida win last night. Obviously looking forward to the draft and the offseason. The cap is going up by a huge jump in the NHL, so it should provide a lot of opportunities for teams. I kind of have my eye on Minnesota. I don't know if that's a super hot take, but they're getting some contracts off the books with Parisi and Ryan Suter that get cap space, plus the cap going up. It's at least an interesting team to consider.
Takeaways from the game last night, the series in general. I mean, Florida's got to be regarded as a dynasty. I don't think there was a question about the Conn Smythe. It was just actually, it was the only game that stayed under, but what a dominant performance by Florida, no?
Yeah, so Sam Bennett absolutely deserved the Conn Smythe. I regard them as a dynasty. I said that last night. Got a little pushback from some people. It is what it is. I would say my takeaway is Edmonton needs to solve their goalie problem. That is switching goalies in a Stanley Cup final is atrocious. If McDavid had a half decent to solid goal, he probably would have had a cup at this point.
Yeah, it really, it's like the old saying with quarterbacks. If you have 2, then that means you really don't have 1.
Right.
Same thing with goaltenders, right, Tom? You can't. In a Stanley Cup final, you can have a bad game. You can have 2 bad games, right? But he's our guy. He's our Connor Hellebuck. I have a bad game, but I'm going to put him out there. No questions asked. But this is nothing new to Edmonton, though, Tom. Why haven't they? Stewart Skinner and Pickard. These are no offense to them. They're in the NHL. I get that, but they're not Stanley Cup winning goalies. They've known this for years. That's been their bugaboo. I don't know if it's going to change this offseason, is it?
Mike Smith, Mikko Koskinen going back years. We got to remember, they were in a conference finals against the Avs 4 seasons ago, I guess, at this point. If they would have had good goalies, McDavid would have a cup. So he's coming up to be a free agent after next season. Lots up in the air when it comes to the NHL.
Did you take a peek at the odds for next year? already?
I didn't, not yet.
Okay, so Florida's the odds-on favorite, and of course
Okay.
Edmonton is 2 or 3 depending on where you look. But before the draft and going into it, do you agree? Like Florida should be the odds-on favorite?
I mean, at a certain point, I would say yes. It's more about free agency because Bennett, Marchand, Ekblad, and one of their other defenders, Nate Schmidt, they're all free agents. So they have a lot of holes to fill. Like, obviously, the draft's not going to be a big thing for them, but obviously there's a draw for players to want to sign there for lower money. I would assume that they're going to be the favorite for the entire season, and it's really just risk aversion from the books. Like, they're just doing it to mitigate risk and not have it be a big liability at a certain point.
FanDuel still has Tom and Dave Carolina as the favorite at 7-1. Florida plus 750, Edmonton plus 750. Well, we talked about this, Dave. Why is that, Tom? Well, why would they have Carolina of all teams? Not Edmonton, not Colorado. I could see Dallas. Maybe I can see, but Carolina as the favorite.
It's again, I think it's just risk aversion where some people buy into what they do, like in their underlying metrics. But at a certain point, like when rubber meets the road, so to speak, in the playoffs, like that comes through to an extent, but they can't get over the hump. And I've said this about the Kings before, like they're a really good team. They are. They've been in conference finals, been in the playoffs, but they're not a great team. I know it sounds kind of silly, but they're just not. They're really good, but they're not good enough to beat the Panthers. And that's all that matters.
It was kind of a foregone conclusion, at least here on this show yesterday, that the Panthers were going to win. Tomorrow, NBA Finals, the Thunder are 6.5. The Pacers, Halliburton beat up. Is it a foregone conclusion tomorrow for you that the Thunder are going to, finish the NBA season in 6?
I think so. I think that's what it comes down to. The Thunder were the better team, and as I said multiple times across SportsGrid on many different shows, my favorite bet coming into this series was over 5.5 games. So I was thrilled to see the Pacers put up a fight, but ultimately the Thunder are the better team, and like you can give that best punch that you have from the Pacers, and that's 2 games. Like, and honestly, that's nothing to be ashamed of. I guess the best way to put it, like the Thunder are better, and going 6 games against a great team, a team that has 60 some odd wins plus all the wins in the postseason. Like this is literally one of the best seasons ever from an NBA team, and getting 2 games off them I think is great. For me, turning to this game, I like Isaiah Hartenstein under 5.5 points. I know that's like a super low line, and a lot of people want to go in there. He's not even taking field goal attempts, like 2-3 per game. That's just not his role. So under 5.5, it's a super low line, but he's not the scorer for them.
Do you think they're going to win by more than 6.5 points? Let's get to the nuts and bolts of it. Are they going to cover the 6.5 points, OKC?
I think they do. I think they'll pull ahead at a certain point. And, if I'll put it like this, if Indiana's not close within the number at first quarter and or halftime, they're not going to be there at the fourth quarter, and the Thunder will just keep pouring in the offense. And I just don't think that with Halliburton injured, not that he's been their leading scorer, the engine that Halliburton provides and what he brings on offense outside of scoring just won't be at 100%. And the Thunder will just keep pressing and pressing and pressing, so to speak, not literally, and they'll just go for the throat, and they'll end up winning by 9 to 15 points.
All right, MLB baseball tonight. The marquee matchup you would think would be San Diego and the Dodgers, but you have found a play in the A's and the Astros game tonight with Valdez on the mound. Look at this. What are we doing?
We're going over 9. I got a 9 earlier. It was at minus 123, 9.5. Obviously, the 9, you can get a push. It is 96, 97 degrees there. It is scorching hot. Absolutely fantastic hitting weather, despite how good Valdez is on the mound. I'm really looking at Severino on the other side. So beautiful hitting weather, like maybe the best hitting weather I think I've seen all so far this season. A 36.8% hard contact rate that Severino allows. He's not allowed the home runs yet, but he's not a big strikeout pitcher at 15.6%, which is so low. 7.4% walk rate. Okay, that's fine. The BABIP is the issue. That's batting average of balls in play. So balls that are not hit out of the park that are actually in play is 286. That's not good. So if we're allowing some runners on base for free, we have great, hitting lack of defense. Babbitt is a weird thing to describe. Like, the defense behind Severino is not good for the Athletics, so balls are frequently falling, and that means runners are on base. Plus, the hitting weather really puts this as a game that we should see screaming over. We saw this a couple nights ago with the runs from the Astros. What was it? Last night, the night before, they had 13 some odd runs. I'm expecting that tonight. I'm expecting like a 10-4 type of game tonight.
Wow.
I know Padres and Dodgers aren't on your slate there, but what do you think of last night's not beanball, because no one was hitting the head, but all the stuff that went on last night, and your thoughts for tonight's game?
I'm tempted to play Ohtani first at bat home run, and I know that's crazy, but it's like, if he hit a home run and the first at bat tonight, would we be shocked? Like, the headlines write themselves on social media, like, oh, look what happened last night. He gets hit, now his first at bat, Ohtani leads off with a home run kind of thing. Like, you could, like, Acuna coming back and hitting a home run on the first pitch he saw this. Like, if we actually thought about it for a second, like, we knew that was going to happen. We knew he was going to hit a home run. Maybe not the first at bat, but the first game, absolutely. So Ohtani leading off with a home run tonight, like, I'm kind of convincing myself, and I just want to believe it because I want to have some fun.
You only got a couple seconds left. What'd you think of Ohtani's one inning of work on the mound?
Not impressed, but I'm also not concerned because his fastball velocity was very high, right? So as long as that fastball velocity is high, I wouldn't be worried about, like, oh, he threw 20 pitches, he threw 40 pitches. It's more about going down the line. He can maintain the velocity high, the control. The volume of pitches will eventually get there, and then it matters most in September and October. So do whatever you want in June, as long as he looks good.
Right. Tom, great job, man. As always, I do appreciate a couple of minutes. I know we called last moment there, but do appreciate it. Best of luck with your picks tonight, and keep your fingers crossed. We'll do it again soon.
All
right, In-Game Live continues here on the grid with B-Day.
On June 25th at 7:30 p.m., ditch the guesswork. Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, James Young, and Tom Vecchio have your NBA draft betting coverage pick by pick, bet by bet, all night long. We got all the insights and expert analysis, because betting blind isn't a strategy. Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. on June 25th, only on SportsGrid.
Have awoken. Maybe they are the best team out in the West, because a rooting interest for me, Tom, always the Mariners. Hey, they're finally getting the hitting back, but now that's starting to slide.
We can make a case for the Rangers. They shore up some things. A team that the Rangers, you and I were both very high on coming into the season. They make a shot for the wild card. But I do think it's going to be a two-team race between the Astros and the Mariners, and that's really about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid, hour number 1. Thanks again, Tom Vecchio, SportsGrid Radio TV host. You're seeing here all the time here on the grid, joining us there for a couple of segments or a couple of minutes, talking about a couple of plays that he likes tonight. So, a little baseball board here. We did that 3 rainouts. Kind of shorten the schedule there a little bit, Dave. But good news for Stanky fans in that their 29, which really reached 30 innings scoreless streak, was snapped. They did score in the second inning tonight. They're tied with the Angels 2-2 as they play over at Stanky Stadium in the top of the 6th inning. Angels with a couple of runners on. Still getting plus 180. I think they're as live a plus 180 dog as you'll get. This Yankee team's in a little bit of trouble. Every team goes through it. I'm sure they're going to break out of it, but I would not be laying -2 and change with the Yankees in a 2-2 game. That's ahead to the bottom of the 6th. Even with that, I still wouldn't be doing that. So, did like the Phillies today. 4-1 over the Marlins. As Marlins bat bottom of the 8th inning. Can't do anything with that game unless you want to lay 2.5 runs at -3-1.
No.
I'm not a big fan of that. What'd you like today on the board from these early games?
Exactly what you were talking about. Phillies early, under in the Angels and Yankees. Just don't even think about it. Then I thought the Mets would actually get something against Sale. They're still being shut out midway through the 5th. Yeah, 4-0. So thought that they would actually be scoring. The Orioles are really hitting well. That game going over 8-3 in the bottom of the 3rd over the Rays. And I wore the Royals stuff thinking, all right, Bubic would have a good start. The game goes under. That's in the 5 on the line. But I might have put the Maloik on the Royals, thinking that tonight while the game's going on. I mean, it might be time to play them, although I gave you that stat earlier. Corbin don't give up more than 3 runs in a game. I mean, they might have to win the game 3-2. But the total's down to, is it 8? Oh, it just took it off. Was it 8.5? I mean, the Royals.
It was 8.5.
No hit through 3.
Ooh. You know what's amazing about that game? I had looked because, again, I'm pretty sure it was the first inning. It's not first and second. Texas scored a couple of runs, right? And I said, okay, let's see if this thing jumps up to 9, maybe 9.5, because the original number was 8.5, and it was still 8.5. Like, they know what I've been saying. Like, for some goofy reason, first couple innings, you get some runs. I mean, first 5 over in Texas games is good, and then game total still goes under. So, don't be worried if you get some runs, but if you actually wanted to, like, take advantage of it, believe it or not, I'd bet over first 5 and then go under second 5. Usually it's the other way around with bullpens and everything else in baseball. But, yeah. So, why did you like Kansas City so much tonight? Not that Texas is great, but Bubic, you were going to ride him?
Let me see. I got the stat here. Hold on. Well, I was kind of taking a shot, okay? They haven't won. Let me double check. I got to pull it up before I quote it. I told you they don't hit home runs against lefties, right?
Right.
They have not won back-to-back games since May 18th and 19th. And prior to winning yesterday, they lost 16 of a previous 23 games. So I said, you know what? Odds makers made him favorite today. I wonder why. Oh, okay. That might be the rat line of the day. Like you like to say, like yesterday, it got us with the Giants. May have got me, hook, line, and sinker. But I went, you know what? Because I was trying to decide. I was trying to decide between wearing the Texas stuff or the Royal stuff. I said, wear the Royal stuff, and we'll see. So, yeah, more of a hunch play than anything, but not really in love with it.
Right. I can see that. Yeah, how about that Giant game? I can't believe that. And, it was set up perfectly. I don't know if you watched it, but bottom of the 9th inning, Giants down 3-2. They got a runner on base. Rafael Devers up, right? And I got distracted. I was watching the post game with the with the Florida Panthers and everything. So I knew the Giants were trailing 3-2. So I'm watching the highlights of the show, and I see this situation, right? And I'm saying to myself, man, if they're showing this has got 2-run homer walk-off, right? Rafi Devers, what a way to open up his Giant career. He didn't do that. He did get a hit, so he extended the inning, but then I guess the next 2 guys didn't get hits, and Giants lose 3-2. But man, I mean, just everything, right? I mean, we said it, that line had written all over it. Only in a minus 150, 155, and I saw it at 145 when we made the graphic. They should have been a 2-1 favorite at home against Cleveland with all those trends and Robbie Ray on the hill. And he pitched well. It's not like they knew he was going to stink to join out, but somehow San Fran didn't win the game. That one hurt. But Rafi, that would have been great. Him hitting a 2-run homer, walk-off home run. Giants win 4-3. Oh, that place would have gone bonkers. Just bonkers.
It's weird. It's a weird line tonight. Same thing, right? Giants small favorite. Verlander pitching, although he hasn't got a win yet for the Giants. Around that same number, minus 130, minus 135, and going against Allen. I mean, the percentage here by the Smart Moves projection has the Giants winning this game pretty comfortably. I don't know. After last night, I don't know. I would think that the Giants are the side tonight. What about you?
I do like doubling down on a bet that I lost the night before, just because I don't want to kick myself for saying, I had them yesterday, they didn't win, and then have them today, they did win. So I do like kind of following it up. A lot of the trends, I know it's not Robbie Ray, but Giants are still playing well, 8-3 of their last 11. In Cleveland, even with the win, still only 3-8 their last 11. They're not really great on the road. San Fran is still very good at home. So, like I said, outside of Robbie Ray not pitching, a lot of same reasons why I like San Fran last night. I like them again tonight. So, this is where the stubbornness kind of comes in. So, I'll take San Fran again tonight. The German, Polish, Irish, Italian all kind of fighting each other. So just like
together,
just smash it together. They have kind of a United Nations in my body. So let's go San Fran tonight. Another sucker line is the Oakland. The Astros against the A's. Tom brought up some good points about the weather. It's getting hot. That's generally where the ball flies. 9.5. Valdez though is on the hill. That's the only thing. He can do really well. So Black Cloud play of the day coming up next.
On June 25th at 7:30 p.m., ditch the guesswork. Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, James Young, and Tom Vecchio have your NBA draft betting coverage pick by pick, bet by bet, all night long. We got all the insights and expert analysis because betting blind isn't a strategy. Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. on June 25th, only on SportsGrid.
Astros right now have awoken. Maybe they are the best team out in the West because a rooting interest for me, Tom, always the Mariners. Hey, they're finally getting the hitting back, but now that's starting to slide.
We can make a case for the Rangers. They showed some things. A team that the Rangers, you and I were both very high on coming into the season. They make a shot for the wild card. But I do think it's going to be a two-team race between the Astros and the Mariners, and that's really about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 1, closing it out with, you know what, our Black Cloud Play of the Day. Ah, yes. We are on a rare 2-game losing streak with our Black Cloud Play of the Day. So we are overdue. I don't think we've ever lost 3 in a row. So this has got to win tonight. We don't have that many games as far as picking games are concerned. So went into the prop market tonight, Dave. And I'm going to go right back to the well with Ohtani. You said it. 0 for 4 yesterday with 4 strikeouts. Why in the world would you play him then, Scott? He's obviously slumping, right? I looked it up. He has had 19 games this year where he went hitless. He only had back-to-back hitless games twice all season, which is really amazing. And none when he actually had 4 official at-bats. He had 2 one game. He had 3 one game. When he did go back-to-back. So he's not had a 4 official at-bat game go hitless and then go hitless again. So he's going to get a hit tonight. I didn't want to go, cheat. We could have given you a base hit minus 350, but I know you're not going to play that. So what we'll do is we'll go Ohtani 2 bases tonight. We know he's going to get a hit. You know he's going to get at least 1 single. That's 1 base. Let's hope he gets a double or a triple or a home run or, a couple of hits like he's, historically done, at least this year anyway, when he's coming off an offer. So Ohtani tonight, 2 bases, minus 165. Still a little juicy, but not nearly the minus 350. You can flip that graphic over, guys, if you want. Not nearly the minus 350 it is for him to get a hit. There you go, boys. 2 bases plus minus 165.
No, it makes perfect sense. We don't see him often, like you said, go over, let alone 0 for 4. And great players like him usually bounce back. So the pitching matchup looks like it's right for him. We'll get a probably 3 at-bats, maybe 2, but probably 3 against Kolek. So I like it. And if nothing else, the bullpen for the Padres has been not good. So if he gets multiple at-bats against the bullpen for the second hit, for the home run that may be coming, for the same game parlay, listen, the greats, like, our next guest, like, Dubsy, I mean, they don't have back-to-back nights like that. Dubsy probably, when he would have golf rounds where he would, spray it all over or do something like that, he'd come back with a really good round the next round, even when he's picking the horses. Go to the track, have a stinker of a day, next day, come back, nail 1 or 2, something like that. That's what greats do, right?
Right. And you want a little conspiracy, and we all love to bet on conspiracies, right?
Oh, you do.
Don't think listen to this. Don't think for a second Rob Manfred wasn't on that phone this afternoon calling up the San Diego Padres saying, listen, if you dare even throw close to hitting Ohtani again tonight, I'll tell every umpire in the world to never give you a fair crack. You won't win another game for the rest of your franchise's history. Do not screw around with the face of baseball. Forget the face of the franchise. With the face of baseball. You want to go hit Pages? You want to go hit Freeman even? You want to go hit Joe Schmo? I don't care if you hit Dave Roberts in the dugout. Knock yourself out. But do not even think about hitting Ohtani and tell your pitchers that. So they're going to be grooving fastballs right down the middle.
You think he called him on the phone or he sent him a text? He called him on the phone.
I think he flew out there. I think he flew out to San Diego.
They're
Give me a
LA,
red eye.
just for the record.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Yeah, they're in LA.
Whatever. Well, he texted him from San Diego. He flew to San Diego.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or he went to the offices. He went to the team offices in San Diego. He didn't even go where to play it. Right? He just went down there, team offices, and said, all right, no
I got
more
to
of
talk
this.
to the team president. Where's the team president? Is he in L.A.? No, he's in San Diego. So go get Ray Kroft on the hill. The Kroc. Did the Kroc family still own the Padres? I don't think so, right?
No.
I think they sold them a long time ago.
Yeah.
McDonald's owner.
Did you take a peek, by the way? We were talking about Texas and Kansas City before the break.
Right.
It is now It is now 4-2 Kansas City.
Uh-oh.
So they broke through.
Good
They
news
got
for
to
you.
Corbin.
Like your Royals.
Yep.
Bad news for the
So
over,
far, so
or under,
good.
rather.
Yep. Under, no
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Well, we got enough runs early. We'll put your theory to the test.
We'll see tonight. Right? We will see if we can get it down to 8.5. Dubs coming up next here on the Grid.
On June 25th at 7:30 p.m., ditch the guesswork. Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, James Young, and Tom Vecchio have your NBA draft betting coverage pick by pick, bet by bet, all night long. We got all the insights and expert analysis because betting blind isn't a strategy. Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. on June 25th, only on SportsGrid.
Astros right now have awoken. Maybe they are the best team out in the West because a rooting interest for me, Tom, always the Mariners. Hey, they're finally getting the hitting back, but now that's starting to slide.
We can make the case for the Rangers. They shore up some things. A team that the Rangers, you and I were both very high on coming into the season. They make a shot for the wild card. But I do think it's going to be a two-team race between the Astros and the Mariners, and that's really about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on the Grid. Hour number 2, Scott and Dave until 10 p.m. Eastern Time, as we always are, Monday through Friday. Checking out the action. We got baseball wall to wall. We got NBA Finals tomorrow. We got a little golf starting tomorrow as well with the Travelers Championship. So let's bring in our good buddy Dubs Anderson, who knows all about all those sports and more. What's going on, Dubsy? How are you on this Wednesday evening?
Good to see you, gentlemen, and I've got to apologise about the tan that I'm rocking on tonight's show. I've been on the e-bike for about 24 hours straight, so a little red raw, but good to see you, gents. I'll tell you what, opposite picks, you found your new barber. That haircut is absolutely spot on. Dubsy's not asking for the Cristiano Ronaldo moving forward. It's for the opposite picks hairdo. Business on the sides, party up on top, and hey, it's a party. PGA Tour, what US Open? We move on to the Travelers. Good to see you, gents.
Before we get to the golf, let's get the baseball out of the way. We've been focused on the baseball. Wetzel has Black Cloud, has, same game parlay with all Dodgers and Padres. Last night, they're throwing at each other. Roberts gets kicked out. What does that lead to tonight, Dubs? You would think it leads to runs, right? Like they're going to score runs tonight, or what are you thinking?
Oh, one may think that, Dave. And I tell you what, Dave Roberts, he couldn't punch his way out of a wet paper bag. Give me the Padres, Sharapan, and give me the unders. I think San Diego absolutely live. They've been trying to send a statement. They've been playing horrible baseball. Let's not get that twisted, bro. I think this is a little get-right spot for them. You look at the starting arms. I mean, who we got here for the old Dodgers? Sheehan, the great unknown. He'll be limited on a bit of a pitch count there. I think they get towards the pen, but I just don't think we see the runs. I think it's all going to have that letdown spot from what we saw yesterday. So I think it's going to be a bit of a snoozer, and I'm leaning towards San Diego, the Padres, to come in to this one motivated and tell the big brother, hey, what's up? We're here to fight, and we're still at 28-1 to take out the World Series. Don't sleep on that either in the NL West.
That's not a bad little price. I mean, you got to figure they will turn things around here a little bit, and you get them in a short series with the pitching staff that with Pivetta and Cease, and they got the capability. They do. Something tells me the Dodgers aren't going to win. Do you think it's the Padres, Dubs, or is that kind of like an anti-Dodger thing for you? Like it's just like things aren't going to fall in place like the Dodgers want them to.
Look, I think it's going to be a regression to the mean. You know, the Dodgers have been hot at the dish, but I think the Padres in a bit of a form slump. All good things come to an end, and I think they start to find a bit of offensive momentum here this afternoon. And you look for the Dodgers, it's a beautiful sunny afternoon. Again, the public are probably thinking there's going to be a feast of runs out there at Chavez Ravine, but I just don't think it's going that way. So give me the Padres in a boring affair, but I think they get this one straight up on the money line, and I just don't think we clear that 9.5 mark here. So there's a bit of juice, obviously, from what we have seen this week between the two, and that's what it's all about. Rivalries in sports, rivalries in baseball. I want to see more of that. And I think the Padres, if they can just connect with a couple, I think that could be enough. Everyone's talking about how many runs we're going to see. I just don't think we get there tonight.
All right. We saw it last night. The Panthers closed out hockey season with a very convincing win. Pretty easily over the Oilers. The last game for the Thunder in the NBA was pretty easy, and Halliburton's hurt. We asked our earlier guests, I'm going to ask you, NBA Finals, Game 6 tomorrow, side, total, prop, anything you got that you want to give to the people, peaches only.
Plus some money peaches on a Wednesday, baby. Give me that whipped cream. I'll smother a little bit on the top here as well. Look, it's tough in trying to find a side with value here. I think OKC get it done. They close out the series, but I'm looking towards this total. I think it's going to be a defensive showdown. It's going to have that intensity for the Pacers, backs against the wall. I just don't think they're good enough to rally and force a Game 7. You know, in Game 5, it's showcase on that defensive side for me. So give me OKC to win it straight up, but I think the value is going to be under 222.5. If you're looking for a player prop, what about Chet Holmgren? I think he's going to be busy in the paint. We've seen it all series long here. You look at his last three, hasn't gone under double digits, 9.5. He clears 10, well and truly. OKC get their first NBA Finals in the history there for the franchise. It's going to be a special kind of Thursday evening. So that's the way I'm looking to play it. Chet's been solid without being fantastic. He's going to be that anchor for him defensively. I think that's just going to be enough to sort of slow the Pacers down and take him out of the game.
How about that? A little NBA championship for OKC Thunder. Something that Harden and Durant and Westbrook couldn't do, but good old Chet Holmgren can. Interesting. All right, we got golf. We got the U.S. Open last week, Dubs. We can get into that if you want, but give me your picks first for the Travelers Championship.
Yeah, and, you know, first of all, very sad about Connor McDavid and the Oilers last night. You know, Dubs, he's big hockey guy, got a soft spot for Edmonton. I just thought the stars were going to align. It didn't happen. Who knows what's next for Connor McDavid there. Iceman for Jesus. But look, golf talk, US Open, fantastic. This is going to be another great event, the Travelers Championship. It's the last signature event for the PGA Tour this season. Cromwell, Connecticut, one of the smaller ballparks that these guys are going to face all season long. We're looking for accuracy off the tee, sharpshooters with the irons, and look towards the guys who maybe aren't going to struggle with, you know, that major hangover from what we had at the US Open. So guys that I'm not big on, top of the board, guys that I absolutely love, Cameron Young. I mean, I think this is his time to finally get it done. He went through a bit of a form slump early in the year. He's figured it out in the last couple of weeks. And you may say, well, that goes against your angle of a bit of a major hangover. No, I think that was enough to sort of wet the whistle, get that appetite going to get that first win. A golf course in which he shot a 59 on here previously. He knows how to eat it up. He's driving the dimples off that golf ball. We love him at plus 5,000 Tommy Fleetwood, accuracy in bunches. He knows how to move the ball. That's going to fare really well here at River Highlands. And if we're looking for a bit of a price there, it's going to be a birdie shootout. You know, it's not going to be 2 or 3 golfers trying to get under par. Winning mark here could be 27, 28 under par. Always look towards the hot putters who can get streaky. Denny McCarthy still sitting there at 100 to 1, plus 10,000, massive long shot price. So Scotty Scheffler, he's probably going to be right in the thick of it again, but that putter just, I think he may have lost a bit of confidence and it may be a bit of a letdown spot. So Denny McCarthy at triple digits. My guy Cameron Young, who I've been chasing here for a few years, boys, he's still at a good price, so we'll take that. And Tommy Fleetwood, the best set of lettuce on the PGA Tour at 35 to 1, plus 3,500.
Nice. Dubs, take away from the U.S. Open. I mean, it was awesome. It Spawn winning the way he did after having a terrible front nine on Sunday. The rain, Pittsburgh, so many things. Did you like the U.S. Open? And is Spawn going to win another tournament this year?
JJ Spawn's likely not going to win another tournament this year, but he earned that thing on Sunday. I mean, he was beat up. He had, 5 bogeys in the first 6 there on Sunday. He's resilient. He showed moxie. And, you know, when you're betting on the golf, the PGA Tour, a lot of the times these golfers don't just come from thin air. And, you know, for JJ Spawn coming along like Fast Freddie, he was right in the thick of it at the Players' Championship, the unofficial 5th major. This is a guy who doesn't take backward steps, and he just kept putting himself in position. And ultimately, he was the last one standing on a very tough golf course. Other big takeaways for me, Scotty Scheffler is that good. He is, hands it away, the best golfer in the world. For him to not even have, I'd say, his A stuff, you know, it was probably a B, plus. It's
amazing. Yeah, and he still was pretty good there, Doug. We're out of time, man. Appreciate it. Doug, we'll do it again soon. Thanks.
Hey, boys.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that rhythm. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of thoughts.
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
back. In-game live, game day here on the grid. Hour number 2. Thanks again, Dubs Anderson, former caddy on the LPGA Tour, joining us there, giving us his thoughts. Interesting that he had all praise for JJ Spawn, but when you asked him, Dave, about do you think Spawn's going to win again, he's like, no. No. How come? He's so good. He's this, he's that. He challenged for this tournament, but is he going to win again? No, he's not going to. When push came to shove, he's not going to win, but I still like them all the same. But that's okay. Interesting about some of this stuff.
Well, that's what happens, though, when someone like that breaks through and wins a major like that, right? With all the adversity. Anyone that's in the space, and bettors, they don't believe it's going to happen again. That will be one of those things that you look back on and go, how did he actually do that? I mean, those odds were really high. During the event, I think he was up to 200 to 1, right? Something like that when he was shooting 40 on the front. He was up. No,
right?
Nobody was betting.
He was leading from start to finish, basically, and they didn't believe in him.
Right. Yep. So. Crazy stuff.
Yeah. I would have liked to have gotten thoughts from W. So much to ask him. He knows about everything, and time goes quick here. But I would have liked to have gotten his thoughts on Rory McIlroy. We didn't get a chance to talk too much about him Monday because we were doing so much. But I'm telling you, Dave, it would not shock me at all for him to announce at the end of the year he's quitting. I mean, he has all the earmarks of a guy that just, you know what? I'm done. I've accomplished everything.
Right.
I got the career Grand Slam now. I don't need this nonsense. I think he felt betrayed, as he should, with the PGA. He was the face of them versus Lib. And the PGA then goes behind his back and basically stabs him in the back. I don't think he's ever forgotten that. All the scrutiny, the golf club about cheating. From what I understand, that happens with everybody, but he was kind of singled out. He's married. He's got his kid. I think he's just done. Just like, I don't need it anymore. I got all the money in the world, right? He's got enough money for 12 lifetimes. He's accomplished everything now. If you don't love the game and you don't love being at the tournaments, which it appears he does not, why bother? Get your whole life ahead of you. Go enjoy it. You're rich. You're a gazillionaire. I do the same thing.
I know. Yeah. So. It's hard once you win the big one, right? Like he won that Masters, and then, that Canadian Open really looked like it was it was really, really bad. And leading up to that event, you kind of knew what was happening. The course was going to be a mental challenge every hole, every day, every shot. Not a good place to go when you're not playing your best golf, right?
Right. Baseball, LSU has scored 2 in the 6th to take a 2-1 lead over Arkansas. And now Arkansas is plus 280. It's moving around here a little bit, but Arkansas plus 280, and then LSU minus 405. What is it? If LSU wins tonight, then they got to play again tomorrow, right? Or is it if Arkansas wins tonight? I think if LSU wins.
LSU wins, they get another game tomorrow.
Right,
Arkansas has to be beat twice. Yeah.
So they got to beat them twice. So over under 5.5. Sixth, they play 9 innings, right? So 2-1 game. I don't have it on FanDuel on what's going on. I don't have it on the TV sets here. But if it is just a 2-1 game, you want to give me plus 270 on Arkansas. I'll take a little flyer on that. We had Quentin on earlier. He said he loved Arkansas. So our guests are never wrong.
Well, that's true. Sometimes. You were talking about Kansas City and the runs that they score early in games. That number went up to 11.5, played under 11.5 right here on a break. Now it just moved down to 10.5 because it's 4-2 coming down to the bottom of the fourth. So keep an eye on that one. If you get double digits, probably still a good number under. No score yet again in the Angels and Yankees. Still 2-2 in the 7th with the Yankees hitting. Time to play that one. What do you think? Totals, nope, 6.5. Not yet.
Yeah.
Right?
What's
or do you play under 6.5? I don't know.
Yeah. That 9.5 had, what was that doing 9.5? I know that Kohanowitz dude hasn't pitched too well, but
Right.
The Yankee game 9.5 at this point, I didn't quite understand that. You know who's playing
There's
pretty
times-
good ball? Go ahead.
Ooh. No. Go ahead. Tell me.
Toronto.
Very good.
They're winning again tonight.
Yep.
5-1 against the Diamondbacks. Bottom of the 7th inning. You know, it's basically unbettable unless you want to lay 5.5 runs, and I'm not like doing that stuff. Maybe 8.5 if you want to go over with 6 runs, you're going to get 3 more runs. But they're very, Washington very quietly has lost 10 in a row because they're just bad, so you don't pay attention to them. And then Toronto, I think for the most part, very quietly has done very well over the last 2 weeks or so. I'm looking for the numbers here. Where's Toronto? Yeah, 12-6 their last 18, 10-1 their last 11 at home. They don't lose at home. A nice little overrun, 12-5 over, so they're hitting the ball finally, they're getting some halfway decent pitching. Their bullpen's still a little shaky, but they're playing pretty good ball very quietly. And the Yankees losing is allowing them to kind of move up in the standings here in the AL East.
No doubt. One of those situations, too, where this is one of those stretches where the Yankees are playing, coming back a little bit. The Rays are playing well also. The Orioles are playing better. The division's all playing better. The Red Sox are playing as good as anybody. The odds for the division adjust. The odds for the World Series adjust. The odds for the AL Championship adjust on runs like this. Sneaky. But nobody's talking about the Blue Jays. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah. Listen, I think we're going to get some upsets in this postseason. I really do. I have no faith. I have more faith in the Dodgers. I don't think the Yankees are very good. Listen, the AL is bad, but I don't think anyone's going to go to that Yankee series if the team stays as it is. Like, we can't beat them. You may say that about the Dodgers, but the Yankees, I don't see it. So, but yeah, Toronto played some decent ball. All right, we'll take a look at some of the numbers when we come back. In-game live, game day out.
On June 25th at 7:30 p.m., ditch the guesswork. Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, James Young, and Tom Vecchio have your NBA draft betting coverage pick by pick, bet by bet, all night long. We got all the insights and expert analysis because betting blind isn't a strategy. Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. on June 25th, only on SportsGrid.
Have awoken. Maybe they are the best team out in the West because a rooting interest for me, Tom, always the Mariners. Hey, they're finally getting the heading back, but now that's starting to slide.
We can make the case for the Rangers. They shore up some things. A team that the Rangers, you and I were both very high on coming into the season. They make a shot for the wild card, but I do think it's going to be a two-team race between the Astros and the Mariners, and that's really about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live, Game Day on the Grid. Talk a little baseball on this Wednesday evening until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We got Cam Stewart coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Then him and Gabe will take over at the top of the hour, as they always do, until midnight Eastern Time, 10 to 12 on SportsGrid Radio as well as SportsGrid TV. So baseball, we talked about, maybe taking a flyer on that over. Blue Jays, while we were away, scored a couple of runs. So at 8.5 is now, as far as the over-under is concerned, 9.5. Still batting bottom 7 to 1. So you need one more run if you did cash in on that 8.5. Stanks and Angels still 2-2. They head to the top of the 8th inning. Well, the Yanks just can't score. We get the Angels now plus 132. Yankees are minus 170. Could they actually get swept by the LA Angels at home? Oh, that would be great. They're ultimately probably going to win the division, but, as a Red Sox fan, you got to take your little, pleasures, and we're getting them right now. That's for sure. Mets, on the other hand, boy, the Yankees have lost, 4 in a row? Mets have lost 5 in a row. For two teams that are in first place in their respective divisions, both are stinking out to join here in New York, Dave. So it's 5-0 Braves, bottom 7. Again, you want to take a flyer on the Mets at 4.5. I'm guessing Sale is out of the game at this point, or if he is, I don't think he'd pitch the 8th inning. I'll check. Maybe against the Braves, I would do that. How many times are the Mets going to get shut out? You want to give me 4.5 runs plus 194? Bottom 7, so you're going to get better odds because the Braves are batting. I'll take a flyer on that. Give me the Mets plus the 4.5 plus 2 to 1.
Sale finished the 7th. He finished the 7th. Right. He's thrown 94 pitches. So we'll see if he comes back out. I don't know. That's a pick 'em. I don't know if he'd come back out. I would think no, because they have a 5-run lead. But they may just say, you know what, Chris, do you want to go in? How do you feel? I want to go another inning. Complete games are coming back a little bit. They're letting guys go, right? Like they're going, you know what? We don't need to. Let's save the bullpen because more bullpen innings just keep happening. So I don't know. This might be Sale's night. Be the first time all season the Mets lost 5 in a row. So maybe they get a run late. We'll see. I don't know.
I looked it up, Dave. I meant to write the numbers down, but I'll paraphrase in that the Mets are basically 500 against winning teams and about 10 games over 500 against the lousy teams, which is, that's kind of how things go. I mean, it's not that crazy for a first place team, 10, 15 games. Like that's kind of normal, but I did just notice that someone on the podcast brought that up. Like they're really not great against the really good team. Like they've benefited. They've had 2 Colorado series. They've had 2 Miami series. Right. They've really played a lot of the bottom rung a lot this first part of the season. So
that's win the games you're supposed to win, right? That's the old mantra in baseball. Win the games you're supposed to win. Split at worst or take 2 of 3 as much as you can against the teams that are competitive. And you end up with 90-plus wins and a playoff spot. That's the formula, and that's all the Mets are trying to do. I think, they're rounding into shape as far as, like, the pitching has been so good that it has to come back a little bit, right? And I think the lineup still, they're putting guys in at certain spots. I mean, they have the middle all set, and Lindor's as good as they get. Pete has been Pete, and Soto's going to get going even more. So the Mets aren't going anywhere. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win a division, though. I think the Phillies win a division.
How about the Castellanos thing? I wonder what he told the manager, Rob Thompson. Guy played 250 or so straight games. I guess I get the impression he wanted to play, and Thompson said, no, have a seat. And he said, probably, F you. I'm making 20 times more than you are. I'll be playing for Philadelphia a lot longer than you'll be managing for Philadelphia if you keep this up. I wonder what the guy said that you would make the manager, make the proclamation. Like, he didn't have to tell him. He could have just, maybe he could have just said. He said, no, he's resting today. No big deal.
Right.
But he made a point of telling the media about this. I wonder what he said.
Who knows? I mean, those guys have all been together long enough that it's like it was kind of surprising when I saw it. I was like, "Wow, really? That's what was that about?" You know, I have no idea whether he caught him on a bad day or he said something that you just crossed the line and you had to make a statement out of it.
Yeah. Make a stand. Unbelievable. All right, quick break. Back to the board. Here comes the Devil Dog against the Orioles.
On June 25th at 7:30 p.m., ditch the guesswork. Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, James Young, and Tom Vecchio have your NBA draft betting coverage pick by pick, bet by bet, all night long. We got all the insights and expert analysis because betting blind isn't a strategy. Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. on June 25th, only on SportsGrid.
Astros right now have awoken. Maybe they are the best team out in the West because a rooting interest for me, Tom, always the Mariners. Hey, they're finally getting the hitting back, but now that's starting to slide.
We can make the case for the Rangers. They showed some things. A team that the Rangers, you and I were both very high on coming into the season. They make a shot for the wild card. But I do think it's going to be a two-team race between the Astros and the Mariners, and that's really about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to In-Game Live. Game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2. We got Cam Stewart in about 10 minutes or so. Gave out a winner earlier as it did cash, and that is the Toronto game as it is now 8-1. So if you got that original 8.5 over, cha-ching, cha-ching, we got it to hit. So we're not bad as the Blue Jays lead the Diamondbacks 8-1, top of the 8th inning. Now they're giving you 9.5 if you want to just roll it over and see if you can get one more run. I would not do that, but, you got an inning and a half, so you never know. Stanks and Angels, Dave, still tied at 2, but L.A. bases loaded, top of the 8th inning with 1 out. Now a minus 148 favorite. Oh, the Yankees could get swept by the pathetic Angels. How great is that? I mentioned that heading into the break, Tampa Bay down big at one point. 8-6 now, Baltimore leads Tampa Bay. So you got the Rays batting bottom of the 5th. They got a runner on first base. Looks like 2 out. All the lines are locked up. But I like betting on teams that got a little momentum, and they clearly have the momentum in this game because they were down big in that one. And then the Rangers added a run, 4-3, top of the 5th, and they're still only giving you 10.5. Now, it's juiced at minus 160, but if those were any 2 other teams, or at least with Texas, really. If it was anybody but Texas, that line, I think, would be well into the 11, if not 12s. You got 7 runs already, and you're only in the 5th inning. But they know that, the Rangers are a monster under team, so it's actually a halfway decent number, 10.5. 4 more runs, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning. You got 5 at-bats. You're not going to get 4 more runs? Well, I don't like betting over in Texas games, Dave, but I think tonight might be the outlier. That maybe we do get a crazy score tonight.
Well, I got under 11.5, so let's get to 11. If you play over 10
That's
and a
what
half, I got
too.
under 11.5. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I took it over too.
all right. So we'll see if we can hold off. The 5th and the 6th inning, I've told you guys on here before many times that that's the innings that score the most runs. The 5th or the 6th. So the guys that do the numbers know that. The guys that do the bets. If you don't know that, I'm telling you that right now. If you think there's an opportunity for either team to score, now you got to check, see who's coming up 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. Usually that's who's hitting in the 5th, depending on how the game goes. So that's the opportunity to play it over. So, like you said, over 10.5, this could be the night. Yes, but don't go too far over. I'd like it to stay under 11.5.
Reds just scored 2. Lead Minnesota 2-1, bottom of the 1st inning after a lengthy rain delay.
Right.
We could add a segment. They're always looking for us to add segments. Maybe we'll add this segment once the NBA is officially done. I found my first NFL bet. Well, I shouldn't say that because I got a few in there already. But yeah. I'm filling in football full circle this week. So
okay.
me and Lisi, we're going over some of the numbers, right? And what do you think? They offer a bet for all the teams. Will the team score at least one touchdown in every single game? So you'd be surprised how many teams. I looked it up. 22 of the 32 teams did not score a touchdown in every single game. I thought it would be way under that number. But in reality, you'd be surprised. Every team seems to have this one clunker, right? But what do you think Kansas City's number would be on that one? And I will tell you the biggest one is probably plus 2 and change, and then the lowest one I saw as far as laying odds was probably, I think, the Lions at minus 260. So you got a 500-point window there. Plus 2.5, minus 2.5. Where do you think Kansas City lies?
Probably between minus 180 and minus 200.
That's what I would say, right?
Yep.
Plus 110.
They will have a game. They're favored to have a game where they won't score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Wow.
The only thing I'm thinking is last year they didn't because they tanked the last game of the regular season. Remember, they started all of the reserves.
Oh, yeah.
And they got shut out 38-0 by Denver.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why. But, I'm getting plus 110 with Patrick Mahomes. Let's just say it gets to week 17 or week 18, game 17, right? It gets to game 17 and your bet is still live. And then you just hedge. You bet the under, Kansas City team total, right? You can still win the bet, because they only score, their team total would be 15, 16, 17 points with the reserves. You bet the under and you guarantee yourself a winner. Maybe you win both bets. I mean, how's Patrick Mahomes? When's the last time Patrick Mahomes quarterbacked a game that he didn't have a touchdown in? Right?
I would have made him the favorite. I would have made him the favorite to score every game. Score a touchdown every game. So it makes sense because of that last game and what it could or could not mean. But I'm surprised. I don't think it'll stay that way. I think as more people talk about it, you guys talk about it, more people find out about the bet, they'll probably bet that Kansas City will score a touchdown every game. I can't believe you said the number was 22 out of 32 teams. I was going to guess half. I was going to guess 15 or 16 would have been my number of teams that did not score a touchdown in an NFL game. Now, we've had, those Thursday night games, there's a lot of duds. Sometimes the Monday night games have been kind of duds. There's been, the primetime games, those 2 days, not great. So makes sense that I can't believe it's more than half. 22 out of 32 teams. Did that number surprise you?
I very much so. I was saying on the podcast before I added it up, I said, I bet there weren't 10 games. Like there was only one shutout last year. Out of all the teams, New Orleans was shut out, if you remember, by Green Bay on that either Monday or Thursday night game. That was the only shutout. So I knew that. And I said, I bet there weren't more than 10 games in which a team didn't score a touchdown. I mean, everybody scores a touchdown, right? But 28 games without a touchdown being scored by 22 teams. Miami, you would think, wouldn't be one, but they were stopped by Seattle 24-3 earlier in the year, which is amazing. New England, that's obvious. Cleveland, obvious. Houston was they were stopped 30-2, if you remember, by Baltimore. It's like I didn't remember that one. Tennessee, yes, won. Indy won. Jacksonville won. Kansas City, we talked about. Denver, 13-6 against your Steelers, didn't score a touchdown. The Chargers, I would not have pictured. They lost 17-15, if you remember. 5 field goals against Arizona. Dallas twice. Giants twice. Bears 3 times. They led the NFL. I got Minnesota for 1. I didn't write the score. I forget who they... I think the Lions at the end of the year when they got embarrassed.
Oh, yeah.
San Fran, remember that goofy 12-6 Thursday night game?
Yep.
That took care of San Fran and the Rams.
Right, both teams, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So
that was an ugly football game. I can't wait for more of those. Right? I can't wait for more of those.
Yeah, I just can't wait.
That's going to be fun. Thursday nights. Yeah.
But let me ask you this, Dave.
By the way, Tampa just tied at 8-8. Tampa just tied at 8-8.
Wow. How
against
about that?
Baltimore.
There you go.
Wow.
Right? Why does FanDuel allow you to parlay certain bets and not others? Like they won't allow us to parlay this bet for some goofy reason. Why? Who makes the call on what's parlayable and what's not?
Different books, different rules, different people. Sometimes it's a software issue. Can't do it. Other times someone decides that's very, very correlated to other things and just turns it off. By the way, Sale just made a tremendous play in the field. He's still in the game. 5-0 Braves. Yeah. Yep.
They love beating the Mets. They don't want to take any chances.
Nope.
Cam Stewart coming up next.
On June 25th at 7:30 p.m., ditch the guesswork. Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, James Young, and Tom Vecchio have your NBA draft betting coverage pick by pick, bet by bet, all night long. We got all the insights and expert analysis because betting blind isn't a strategy. Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. on June 25th, only on SportsGrid.
Have awoken. Maybe they are the best team out in the West because a rooting interest for me, Tom, always the Mariners. Hey, they're finally getting the hitting back, but now that's starting to slide.
We can make the case for the Rangers. They showed some things. A team that the Rangers, you and I were both very high on coming into the season. They make a shot for the wild card, but I do think it's going to be a 2-team race between the Astros and the Mariners, and that's really about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day on the Grid. Scott and Dave, as we welcome in our good buddy Cam Stewart to the program, who resides up in Canada. And I'm going back and forth, Cam, with a guy on Twitter about where Brad Marchand is going. And I said maybe he'd go to Toronto. He's like, he's a Leafs fan. He said, that won't happen. I'm a Leafs fan. Nothing good happens. How far is Nova Scotia from Toronto? Did he, because that's where he's from. Did he grow up a Leafs fan, maybe? Is that far away, or is that like nearby?
No. You're in Nova Scotia, you like two teams. If you're Canadian, like guy who respects Canada, you're probably a Montreal fan. And if you don't give a crap and you like just hockey and whatever, you're a Bruins fan. Like there's sections like guys in the East Coast like the Bruins or Montreal. I'm a little bit more, I'm West. Brad Marchand will play for whoever the hell pays him the money to play for him, right? And he's the perfect, for one more kick at the can, the perfect type of player for the Leafs. It's funny because as a Bruins guy, he killed like everybody, Tampa Bay, Toronto, you know what I mean? He's that guy. So why don't you have the killer on your team instead of have to play against him? I don't know, just the Leafs' luck. He'll probably play for them and just break his leg or just have the worst year of his life or something like that if he signed with them. But anyway, it's kind of dismal in Edmonton. The fans actually took a lot, but the older ones took it a lot better, I guess, than what you think. But let's just call it out for what it is. Florida beat them down, right? They're a better team. They're deeper, much better goaltending. And Edmonton moving forward, are they going to run this thing back again? I can tell you, probably not if they don't get a better defenseman. And no offense, with Stu Skinner and Pickard, you're not winning with those two. Upgrade in goal, and you need a real defenseman to stay at home, Chris Pronger type. Don't worry about the offense. Guys who lays guys out and gets the puck out of the zone.
Before we get to the golf and the Travelers and stuff, night baseball tonight.
Yep.
It looks so obvious to take Houston over Oakland. It looks almost as obvious to take the Dodgers over the Padres. The game over the total.
I don't know about that one,
Anything you
Dave.
like in particular? Tell me why.
So far, let's hope things go well. Good. See, when I'm not watching, I actually just had a cat nap and I'm waking up going, hey, the Jays are up 8-1. I got 8.5 over. Ooh, the Royals are up. Like I did a show with Joe Ranieri earlier, and those were the picks in the show. But I also have a parlay. The Detroit game got canceled. I have the old public parlay. I threw the Yankees in there, and they got two guys on out. They're minus 210 live against the Angels. 2 runners on, no outs right now. I have the Yankees with how'd that Philadelphia game? Did that game get postponed?
No. They're fine.
No, they won.
No. Oh,
yes,
God, thank you. I always wonder when I'm looking at the scores. I'm like, where the hell's it? And then I realize it's 9:44. If it's a quick game, that game's done before we come on. So that's my back end of that is the Yankees. So I have a public parlay plus 109 Yankees and Phillies. So the Phillies part one. Yeah, this could be perfect. Maybe I'll do this more often. Just give Joe picks and not worry about it. You know what, Dave? Every time I watch something, bad things happen, kind of like Sunday on golf. And this is just proof that I should probably go for a walk and not come back till 8 o'clock at night. Let's go to the Travelers. Carver's favorite tournament, where he witnessed, as he told me when we did Golf Tuesday instead of Wednesday this week, he saw Cameron Young shoot a 59. Cameron Young finished 4th at the U.S. Open last week. So an interesting guy on a lot of tickets this week. But we're going to go with a guy that Scott Wetzel could really love. What does Scott love? Boston sports. What does he love? The East Coast. Cardano's alma mater. He's St. John's. It's Keegan Bradley. I can tell you one thing about Keegan Bradley. If a tournament's played in New York State, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, or anywhere in the Northeast, he will finish in the top 20 and contend and maybe win. He loves this tournament. Horse for the course at 45. Ben Griffin has won twice this year, and you're offering me him at 55-1? I'll bite. 55-1 on him. Daniel Berger, another great track record in Cromwell, Connecticut at 75-1. Tom Kim used to be one of the best golfers in the world. I know he's having a rough year, but he also lost in a playoff in this event last year at 90, guys. And 2 bombs for you. The amateur turned pro Luke Clanton, who a lot of people like in the top 10 and 20 market. I do as well, but I'm also going to sprinkle 100-1. And my boy from Duke, Max Gracerman. First round leaders. Can I not get a second place with Colin Morikawa this week in the last 2 events? How about a lead at 22-1? Come on, Colin. Just 2 more birdies. Dave, you know back in Vegas, I used to go to the best wing joint with Blessing, the Cleveland Brown Bar. Know what they were known for? The best wings, pizza, and hoagie sandwiches. 55-1 on Tom, Super Hoagie, who plays well here. Thomas Dietrich from Belgium. This guy's like my horse race, a quarter horse last night in Australia. Can you just finish? No. He's just a starter and dies at the wire. 70-1. Jacob Bridgman, a great golfer that no one's really heard about. trending every week at 75 to 1. He's a Thursday warrior. And Scott, my two old buddies, they're
There's
back.
our boy.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
got to do it. I'm addicted. Jaeger bombs, Cole K. Yes, Eric Cole is on the list. Actually, Joe Ranieri gave me, am I seeing Eric Cole on your list there, Cam? Yeah, he's there at 90 to 1, and I got Jaeger bomb at 80. But they do start pretty good, right? You see, here's the deal, though, Scott, just a tip for everybody, and I didn't mention it last time. If you have guys over, I would say the number would probably be around 30. Like Morikawa, I'll just take outright, but you can each way guys. So will they finish top 5 or 6 in first round, and they'll saw it off for you? And you know, Scott, sometimes we have a 7-way tie, and you at least want to get something back. You don't want to lose the money. So, guys, in the golf market, do the math yourself, but it doesn't make sense to do it at a guy like Scheffler at 11 because you're going to, like, when they saw it off. But guys at a good price range, you should try to each way them. Trust me, because only one person wins these things. So I'd rather have a chance with 5 or 6 to come in. We got top 10s. Morikawa, who I like to win this week, but he was 15 to 1 on my book, and I couldn't bite at that price. I'm probably going to get him live. I really like Morikawa. Xander Schauffele, quiet top 10 at the U.S. Open after horrible early rounds. Now, he's a closer horse. This guy's actually better on the weekend than at the start, plus 140. Ludwig Aberg, a little bit disappointing, but I think this track will be perfect for him as he hits it straight. It's all about that putter, plus 180. Top 20s, Jordan Spieth. Great track record here in Connecticut. Aaron, Ryan, Ginger. Wow, I got a lot of beverages on my team this week. And this one's for Morency. Bud Cauley. Gabe likes to smoke. I'll have a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
We got everything covered. We got Buds. We got Ryan Gingers. We got Jaeger bombs. Come down to Stewart's Pub and Grill. 50% off wings after 9 o'clock. Appetizers. Let's roll this week, guys. I can really feel good about this tournament. Yes.
How much are they going to light up this golf course after watching this?
David.
They're going to.
David
How low is this going to
Sharapan.
go? Tim?
Wise one. If this place that gets no, like if this rough doesn't grow out or it's like perfect sun without wind, let's think. I'm thinking the winning score.
25.
Wetzel, you're reading my mail. 24 under, between 24 and 26 was my number. Great call by USW. These guys might
Great
hit
minds
30
think
if
alike.
things go nuts. Yeah, this course, they're going to eat it up.
On June 25th at 7:30 p.m., ditch the guesswork. Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, James Young, and Tom Vecchio have your NBA draft betting coverage pick by pick, bet by bet, all night long. We got all the insights and expert analysis because betting blind isn't a strategy. Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. on June 25th, only on SportsGrid.
Astros right now have awoken. Maybe they are the best team out in the West because a rooting interest for me, Tom, always the Mariners. Hey, they're finally getting to hitting back, but now that's starting to slide.
We can make a case for the Rangers. They shore up some things. A team that the Rangers, you and I were both very high on coming into the season. They make a shot for the wild card. But I do think it's going to be a two-team race between the Astros and the Mariners, and that's really about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day on the Grid as we close up shop here, getting set to hand it off to Cam. Appreciate him stopping by as he always does. And Gabe Morency at the top of the hour, Sports Grid Radio, as well as Sports Grid TV for the next 2 here on the Grid. So, quick little update with our NCAA action. You know, we're sitting on Arkansas. It is now tied 3-3 with LSU. So they came back, they tied it. The over 6.5 that it was earlier. Actually, it was 5.5 is going to hit, obviously. And then 7.5 is where it stands right now. 6-6, or 3 runs, rather 6 runs total, 3-3. You might get that. LSU, the favorite at 2-1, minus 196, and then Arkansas plus 148. On the docket. Yeah, this golf tournament, Dave, I will say this, Travelers, it's about 400 yards less than the Open from last week. I mean, I've seen pitch and putt courses longer than this one at the Travelers. Only 6,800 yards. I mean, I could drive some of these holes, for goodness sakes. So
whoa.
You're going to get a you're going to get a monster score as far as I really think FanDuel doesn't offer it right now. I don't see it anyway, unless I'm missing it, but if they did, I would bet under or whatever, better than whatever score they give you. Because I think the winning guy's going to go 25. I wouldn't even be surprised. You mark it down 30 under par. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, par 4 is 350 yards, for goodness sake. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's goofy.
Without much danger. That's the thing, right? This course doesn't have much danger. And it's not, if there's no wind, they are going to light it up. So it's just a weird transition from seeing the hardest golf course maybe in the United States to then this right after.
I don't think that's done by accident either, right?
Right.
How many times do you hear the golfers at the U.S. Open? They're all bitching and moaning and crying about how tough it is. I think this is the PGA's way of soothing it over. Okay, boy, don't worry. We'll give you a cupcake the week after. And they all go play the Travelers, and they all shoot, 15, 20 under par. Maybe they win, maybe they don't, but they feel a whole lot better about themselves. Not a coincidence, I don't think.
I don't think so either. Also not a coincidence. The Yankees stranded a couple and trail 3-2 after 8. So still can't get another run across. Keep an eye on that one. Royals or Rangers are now into the bottom of the 6th. That total we told you to go under 11.5 is now 9.5. Getting back to the original number. So good on you for pointing that out. Good on me for actually betting it. Houston and the A's, okay? I mean, really. Framber, I got this stat here. This is ridiculous, okay?
Go ahead.
He is, let's see. The Astros have won each of Framber Valdez's last 7 starts. He's 6-0 with a 2.02 ERA in that span, has only allowed 2 home runs, okay? In that time as well, or on the season, the A's have been out-homered 66-39 at Sutter Health Park this season. That's the worst home run differential, minus 27, at home in the majors in 2025. Why is this line like this? Why are we not higher? I mean, Framber's going to shut them out.
Maybe because of respect for Severino?
You want respect for Severino?
Stinks, but
how about this? Severino's 0-6 with a 7.10 ERA and 9 starts at Sutter Health Park this season. All 6 homers he's allowed in 2025 have come in Sacramento. Respect.
Wow. This guy stinks at home.
Right. I can't believe this number. I'm telling you, I don't know. Oh, wow. Okay, hello. It just steamed up.
What?
Maybe some people out in the desert are watching the show. It's minus 190 now.
Ooh.
It's minus
FanDuel still has a 172. You got a 190?
Play it.
Wow.
Play it,
right?
It's out in the desert. It's minus 185 and minus 190 out here. So, play.
It's going
Houston.
Up.
Yeah. Yep.
Yankees, by the way, had runners on first and second, nobody out, and they couldn't score.
Correct. Yep.
I mean, they just wow. Fast
the Mets
top of the ninth, heading to the bottom of the ninth.
The Mets got a hit with 2 outs at the bottom or top of the ninth. They took Sale out. Yeah, he went 8 2/3. But
infield single it was. Wasn't
it was
even like a
right over the third baseman's head. It was a terrible, but he walked right out. He knew he was taking him out. He handed him the ball. He tipped the cap to the crowd, and they get the next guy out. So Braves win, Mets lose. Longest losing streak of the season for the Mets.
Wow.
Have to check on Vinny.
116 pitches. I mean,
He's fine.
Yeah, you couldn't have given him 4 more, 5 more. I told you. Tell him to throw it underhand. Underhand. See if you get him out. Damn the game coming up.